What's up, guys? My name is Dakota, and right now I'm traveling around. I'm in Hungary right now, in the center of Budapest. Tomorrow I leave. I'm going to Prague in the morning, in Czech Republic, to sort of explore around the ruins of the alchemical, magical mysteries that lie in the history there. So, in the context of magic and spirit invocation and all the kind of stuff that was found there in the 15th century, 16th century, when John Dee and Edward Kelly were doing their scrying and communicating with demons and angels. I had a weird experience when I was in Mexico about 9 months ago. And I went to Mexico because I had this weird DMT trip. I talked about it a few videos ago, and I talked about it a long time ago on my channel, and if you're familiar with my channel, you've probably heard me talk about it a bunch, but I had this crazy DMT trip where these cosmic rainbow serpents possessed my body and dissected my torso, and it was insane. And I found out that in Mexico, and seemingly all around the world, there's these mythologies of the healing serpent, or this sort of divine serpent. And I went to Mexico to learn about it because they have a psychedelic culture there. There's still people there today that are using mushrooms and peyote, and I wanted to meet with a shaman to try to help explain my experience. So I went traveling around, and I found this woman, Natalia, who was living on the top of this mountaintop in Oaxaca. And I just sort of showed up in this little town called Huautla de Jimenez, where Maria Sabina was. If you don't know who Maria Sabina is, then you need to do some studying in your psychedelic history, because Maria Sabina is such an important role in the psychedelic culture, especially in America. And she was basically the tidal wave that kind of this kaleidoscopic tidal wave that washed over the whole world in the late 50s, I believe, in the 60s and 70s, and even today we're still the echo of her inspiration, a lot of us. So I went to the place, her village, in hopes to find a curandera, or a shaman that is still practicing the traditions that she was practicing. And I met this woman, Natalia, who agreed to do a mushroom ceremony with me. And the mushroom ceremony that I did with her, we did it in a little room in her family's house, in the living room. I was on a couch, actually smaller than this couch I'm on here. And you can see the video. I filmed the video of some of the ritual and some of the ceremony that we did, and the big pile of mushrooms she gave me that were covered in maggots, by the way. Oh God. I had to eat these mushrooms, and by the time I was in the middle of eating them, I looked at the paper that like the mushrooms were on, that she handed to me, and there was just little maggots. And I was like, oh my God, she speaks Mazatec. She doesn't even speak Spanish or English. So it was a tough situation, but I ate them anyway. So anyways, they do this interesting kind of blend of the Mazatec tradition, this sort of indigenous shamanism, mixed with the influence of Christianity, because they were colonized, and maybe they would have been killed or something if they didn't realign their beliefs to the Spanish. That's why they speak Spanish in Mexico, is because they were colonized by Spanish people. So we did this really interesting ceremony where we ate these mushrooms. She was doing mantra, lighting candles, lighting incense, and she stayed up. She's probably she's got to be in her 80s, and she stayed up for 7 hours just keeping this ceremony alive, keeping these candles lit, keeping this copal lit, and making sure I was okay. And it was really intense human experience. But she had this huge picture of Mother Mary staring down at me. There was Jesus, Mother Mary, San Pedro, San Isidro, and as the trip was coming on, Mother Mary's face was lit in the candlelight. And I remember just being like, what is this? Like, you know, like, because when you get in the mushrooms, you start becoming more a little bit analytical and more kind of questioning your nature of existence, the nature of yourself, and you just become it's a weird state to be in, you know? Things, as Terence McKenna said, the boundaries start dissolving. And I remember just staring at this picture of Mother Mary and just being like, what does it all mean? What does it all mean? And this interesting thing happened, which I can only explain as sort of ancestral contact or spirit contact. I don't know how it happens. Maybe it's my subconscious, communication with my subconscious, whatever that even means. Maybe it's communication with my imagination, whatever that even means. Dreams are bizarre, you know? What is a dream? People, you know, saying something is a dream or saying it's your imagination, it's kind of a way to downplay the experience, or even just saying you're on drugs is kind of a way to downplay the experience. But the psychedelic experience is so curious and so strange that saying it's just in your head or whatever is not. It doesn't lighten the mystery at all. You know, it's still equally as mysterious. But to get to the point, I was just staring at this picture of Mother Mary, and this voice came to me. And this voice is so external. It's not like a physical kind of voice that's it's not like it was behind me or next to me, but it's more of a telepathic download of information. And I was asking this voice, like, what is this Mother Mary? Like, what is Mother Maria? What is this? And it started to explain to me that Mother Mary is the earth, and that the Virgin Mary is the womb of earth. It was so poetic the way that the mushroom was explaining it to me. It was saying that the symbol of Mother Maria, the symbol of Mother Mary is Mother Earth, and that the Virgin is the Earth's womb, because nothing is required. There's no sex required for the Earth to just give birth to us. We're all here of a virgin. The Earth is just a womb for spirit to manifest. And this voice that was coming to me was saying that it was the spirit of Earth, and that it's coming to me through the bridge of this mushroom that allows my distractions to be lessened, to be more tuned in so that I can pay attention. And I imagine we're always in communication with, you know, something strange and unusual, to say at the very least, you know, spirits, I guess you can call them. And but we're just too distracted by our senses, too engaged with the world to pick up on it. You know, we're too consumed by what we're going to eat next, or lust or desire, or all these things preoccupy the space in our heads that we are unable to quiet ourselves enough to, like, dissolve the boundaries. It was so beautiful, man. Like, it made me really appreciate the symbol of Mother Mary so much more. That the earth is just, there's nothing required for anything. It's just like a loving mother that it's just holding space for us to figure it out, you know, like baby Jesus in the hand of Mother Mary that's like, the whole earth is just like that. Like, it's just, we're being cradled by this this incredible place and space, and unconditionally loved and unconditionally taken care of. You know, even though we take and exploit the resources of everything around us, it just continues to give and continues to allow us to figure it out. I never thought about it that way, of like the virgin being the earth, like look around. Look around. It's just a womb for spirit. And there's nothing required. It's just happening out of love and I don't know, chemistry, whatever you want to call it, biology. But here we are, some kind of thinking, self-reflective being. And in a lot of ways, Jesus represents our pure kind of nature of sacrifice and compassion and love and the better qualities of who we are, Like even when Jesus was being, killed and beaten, he said, "Forgive them. They don't know what they're doing." And like we don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. And I think we all know that deep down. Like if someone's being an asshole to you, a lot of the times we kind of match their energy because we don't know any better. But if you really examine it and you like take a breather, they don't know what they're doing. They're being reactive. Maybe they had a bad day, so that bad day is now echoing and being projected onto you. And we've all done that, but deep in our hearts, we know that that compassion is really our essence. We love this planet, we love each other, even though we have disagreements and we get lost in the sauce of life, and we get lost in the drama of everything because I don't know, maybe it's fun and it's more exciting to do that, or who knows why, because we know not what we do. I guess that is why. But yeah, man, I don't know, it was so weird to just to be looking at these pictures of these religious icons that I have no connection with. Like I'm not a Christian, and it makes me cringe a bit when I get comments on my YouTube all the time from Christians saying like, "You're gonna go to hell. Mushrooms and DMT and these new age spiritual practices that you preach about are going to send you directly to hell. You have a first class ticket." And I get literally every single day I get these comments. There's not a day that goes by where I don't have some Christian condemning me. So I have like this sort of cringe to these icons and to this philosophy. And I do appreciate Jesus a lot in the Bible, and discovering Hinduism and meditation and yoga has helped me understand Jesus and the Bible from a new perspective. But even then, I cringe a lot about it. But this mushroom trip, I've been surfing the wave of this mushroom trip since it's happened. I went there to find someone to help explain my DMT trip, and now I need to help someone explain how it's possible that I'm having these schizophrenic visions of Mother Mary explaining to me that she actually is the Mother Earth, and using poetry to say I'm the womb of spirit. It just deepened my mystery. And now how do you find someone to explain that to you other than saying I'm just schizophrenic or something, or having an episode of psychosis? But I don't know. These plants seem to be the ancestors, especially mushrooms. We evolved essentially from fungi, I believe. Someone can check me on that, but I think science sort of points to the realization that we have evolved from fungi as a distant ancestor of us. So these things are literally the ancestors, and they've been around forever. Mushrooms have hardly evolved over billions of years. I think the first land life we find are mushrooms, like the 1.5 billion year old mushroom fossils and stuff like that. It's the first kind of stuff we find that's evolved itself onto the land. So it's peculiar that you can eat a mushroom and its biochemistry is nearly similar to things we have in our own body. Like we have DMT, for example, in our own body, and psilocybin is one oxygen molecule different from DMT, so it's nearly structurally the same. So our body, it's weird that it interacts with us this way, to where it gives us visions of the spirit world, or what humans for generations and generations and generations can only describe as being the spirit world. And regardless of our sort of cultural programming, we all sort of have an experience in which points to something deeper and something spiritual. I don't know how else to say it. And not everyone has this experience, but I think given the right circumstances, given the right context, being with a shaman, being in a ceremony, and your intention being to perhaps invoke healing or to invoke mystery, that it happens when you ask for it, or when you're seeking it sincerely. I mean, if you're taking it at, if you're taking mushrooms at a rave or something like that, and you're paying attention to all the lights, and you're dancing with your friends, and you might not be in the right place to notice the signs, or to you're overwhelmed, your senses are overwhelmed, and even then, people still have crazy spiritual experiences in situations like that. So who knows why it happens, but yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about this because, like I said, I'm going to Prague tomorrow, and I'm really interested in spirit invocation, which John Dee and Edward Kelly were notorious for doing in Prague. And I don't think they were using any psychedelics, but the fact that I've had this experience, and that other people talk about having this experience, Native American cultures, Mexican cultures, Amazonian cultures, anywhere you find psychedelics, these people talk about the potential that it has to invoke something, to invoke the other. I don't know what it means. Yeah, I don't know. But it's a real experience that you can have. And it sounds like bullshit. I don't expect anyone to believe me, especially no one that has had the experience themselves. I mean, I wouldn't believe it if it didn't happen to me. But the thing is that, an hour's worth of investigation, it can be handed to you on a platter of mushrooms, and perhaps you may be one of the lucky ones to have this experience. I don't know, man. The voice of the mushroom, and so much happened that night. I spent 6 hours just like speaking to ghosts and seeing spirits all around me. I could see, it sounds crazy, but I could see Natalia, the curandera that was holding the ceremony for me. I could see her spirit. I don't know. And I still have, even though I went through that experience, I still have trouble even believing that it happened. I still question myself, but it's happened to me a few times, these psychedelics, man. And I will go into more of this and break down. There's a lot of things I didn't share, but this is the start of my trip, and I don't know, I just thought it was so interesting, and I was just thinking about it, so I decided to turn the camera on and start talking about it. I don't know, it was like showing me the earth and like primordial earth with waters bubbling and like a fast forwarding timeline of plants sprouting and human beings being born, and it was a truly absolutely amazing experience to have. Anyone that just looks at this as being, you're on drugs, is missing something incredible, and maybe it is just drugs, but everything is just biochemistry if you want to diminish it into the most, materialist, and I would say ignorant kind of way. If people only knew the depth that these shamans held, the knowledge that they knew. We look at them as being like primitive tribal people, but the way people flock to India to find gurus, man, if these people only knew what these shamans knew, if they knew the power that they held, they would be flocking to Mexico to touch their feet. Oh, I get goosebumps thinking about it. There is something interesting to invoking spirits, and you can call it demons if that's the sort of reference point you want to use. To me, Christianity, it seems to be a very deeply profound philosophy, but it's being used to control people and to make them fearful. There's nothing to be afraid of, There might be things that from our reference point seem demonic or evil, but everything has its place in this universe, And as long as you recognize your power, you'll be okay. Don't give your power away. Stay strong and know that everything is temporary, and that by some way that we just popped up here on this earth through love, it seems like this planet loves us, so it wanted us to be here, and has given us this opportunity. Yeah. Mother Mary, so weird. I never thought I would say I had a vision of Mother Mary coming to me as the spirit of Earth. But anyways, my name's Dakota. I have tons of videos here on YouTube talking about psychedelics, traveling around. You can watch the video of me and Natalia taking the mushrooms. I'm sure there's something I missed about this. I felt like I had so much to say until I sat here and started talking, and then my mind kind of went blank. But if I get inspired again and I feel like I missed something, maybe I'll talk about it again. But thanks for watching. Click subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. Turn on my notifications if you want, because YouTube doesn't show my videos to people. They don't like me talking about psychedelics. So anyways, I don't know. Follow me on Instagram too. Dakota Wins. That's my name. See you guys in Prague.